All right, the two best teams in the East, they faced off last night, Boston and Philadelphia. The Sixers coming in on a 5-game winning streak to this one. Let's take a look at how it went down. Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, you've been singing their praises, Perk.
Oh, look at the spin move. Disrespectful by the Boston Celtics. Put Drew Holiday on him. Mouse in the house, take that.
Yeah, but you know what? It kind of worked.
Spins, throws it down. This is later in the first quarter.
Not on that
here.
play.
Embiid going to work once again. The Sixers have just been clicking in this one.
Monster on the boards. I'm telling you, Joel Embiid is playing like he got something to prove. Give me that.
Tyrese Maxey, there have been questions about who would fill the shoes of James Harden once he was departed. It has been Tyrese.
Well, I tell you what, James Harden ain't blocking shots like that. And James Harden ain't bringing that type of motor.
What a way to end the first half. Tyrese Maxey tried to run up the floor. He's like, folks, get out of my way. I'm trying to take a victory lap. But in the fourth quarter, this game got good, Brian.
Absolutely. This game really came down to a few different possessions. That was what they needed from Embiid last time they played there in Game 6 last year, but he'll get another chance at it.
Backs down. Jason Tatum elevates and gets that one to go. Embiid had 27 points, 10 rebounds in this one, but still a three-point game. Kristaps Porzingis, he's at the hot hand.
Clean look.
He was leaning into that one.
Just a little bit short. The Sixers hang on to win 106-103. Here's Joel Embiid after the game.
I think is, a lot of credit to the culture that we have. No one has an ego on this team. We got new guys, we took them in, we got them up to speed. I think guys, the fact that guys want to, play with each other and, they like being around each other, I think it helps a lot too.
So Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, they're now the second pair of teammates in NBA history to average 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists through 7 games in a season, joining Steph Curry and Kevin Durant in 2018-19. So we talked about this a little bit in the highlight, but there were some big question marks about this team, what they would do in the absence of James Harden, right? What did they prove to you last night? Did they prove that they're contenders, Brian?
Well, it's still early to make that declaration, but as the kids say, the vibes are immaculate. Did you hear what he was saying there? Like, everybody likes each other.
The culture is there.
Might be a little coded language there. He might be talking about somebody without actually talking about it.
It was shots fired.
Look, here's what I'm going to say. Joel is happy. I don't know if people were all worried what was going to happen with Harden. Joel is happy. Yeah. Maxey's playing good. Nick Nurse has everybody feeling good in their roles. They've got depth, Perk. They've got trade assets later on. They're feeling good. Nobody would have predicted this a month ago when they were out in Colorado and nobody knew whether Harden was going to show up or going to play. Look where they are now. Yeah, they'll have some more adversity. Yeah, they may have to tweak this roster a little bit, but they are exactly where they would want to be.
With a hell of a coach, Tobias Harris is averaging 19 points.
He has a new lease on life.
Yes, shooting 60% from the field.
Pat Beverly playing good off the bench.
Absolutely, being a leader. But here's the thing. We could talk and we could hype up and we could harp and give praises to Embiid and Maxey about their offense, and rightfully so. But it's the defense for me, both of them. Embiid had 4 blocks last night, but Tyrese Maxey, the things he does on the defensive end, right here. Look, go and get this. Drew Holiday not giving up on the play, the high motor, the speed. Right here, okay, Jaylen Brown, you want to try to bully me? I'm taking all that contact, getting the offensive foul call. Verticality, right, on Derek White. Two-handed block shots. So, I mean, like, this is what this young fella brings to the table, and you can just feel it. But kudos to Nick Nurse, because even yesterday when we saw Shanae bringing up, she was breaking down her cheat sheet. Mm-hmm. And when Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey are running that high pick and roll, it's starting at half court. You know why? Because when Tyrese Maxey is coming downhill with that speed, it's just hard to stop for any big in the league. So kudos to Nick Nurse to keeping the locker room a sanctuary, keeping the chemistry together, and making sure that his big fella is happy right now.
And it went a little bit haywire here in the third quarter. Watch Giannis. So he's driving on Isaiah Stewart, throws it down, gives him, is it the too small and the stare down, or is that him asking why? So this was his second technical foul.
He said, get out.
And he said, you're gone. Well, Giannis wasn't thrilled about this. had a little discussion with the refs. He actually sat down courtside before he exited the game. Here's how it looked to the fan sitting next to him. Giannis, he would head to the locker room. His 5th career suspension.
Stop the highlight. Stop. You know, that was embarrassing, okay, first off. But you know, I got a word of the day, Malika.
It was embarrassing that he was issued the check or that the display?
It was embarrassing that he was issued the tech.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, you know, I was trying to figure out a word of a day, you know what I mean, and come up with something, but I couldn't really say what I wanted to say on national TV. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm doing the emoji of the day. That's the emoji of the day.
That's a real hot one,
Yeah,
too.
no, it is.
Angry.
It is, because that's how I feel. Because there's no way in hell that a superstar, we're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, really, superstar is an understatement. He's a mega star. And this is the passion, right, that you want to see guys playing with. He just threw down a thunderous dunk on somebody. Like, fans are paying their hard-earned money to come see Giannis Antetokounmpo play and do those type of things. Like, as a ref, you cannot do that. Let me tell y'all something. I played with so many Hall of Famers. I played, you know, if you could only imagine what KG and Shaq and Paul, those guys then said to referees and not get kicked out of the game and not pick up a technical foul.
Yeah.
And for Giannis to get kicked out because of this.
By the letter of the law, it is taunting, but I don't mind a little bit of taunting. I think that's what makes the game fun. I appreciate that quick word or quick emoji.
It was an emoji.
The vibes are immaculate, as Brian Windhorst would say. Back to the highlight here, though, because it was Dame time down the stretch.
There's no such thing as having too many star players. And what you got right here, Malika, is superstar redundancy. And that's what they had. Dame with, I believe, 18 fourth-quarter points.
That's correct. Damian Lillard went to work, put the Bucks on his back when they needed him most. This is what they brought him in for, to be that closer. Obviously, we saw Chris Middleton step into that role the other night, but it's kind of nice to see that Dame can do it too.
Yeah, look, they have some issues, especially defensively, but for them to win this game, by the way, the Pistons did some stuff in this game. Cade Cunningham, Marcus Sasser were awesome. But to win this game with no Chris Middleton, with Giannis getting ejected 3 minutes in the second half, that was Dame doing Dame stuff.
Yeah, to your point, he outscored the Pistons by himself, right, over the final 9.5 minutes of the game. This stretch started with Milwaukee trailing by 8 before coming back to win the game ultimately. So I want to get a little bit of a different perspective on this game. Let's get Erin's angle. We have our ESPN betting analyst, Erin Dolan, joining the show now. Erin, the Bucks, they improved to 5-2, and that looks good on the surface, right? But what caught your attention with this team?
Well, from a betting perspective, Malika, they have yet to cover the spread this season. They're 0-6-1 against the spread, so bettors are not too happy about that. But for tonight's matchup, something I want to note is the fact that they opened as a 4-point favorite. It's all the way down to -2.5. And on top of that, you see a high total, 241.5. So maybe you look at some player props, specifically the overs. But again, going back to the fact that they have not covered, I mean, it's the first time since the 2014 and 15 season that we've been seeing this. And on top of that, if you look at the last 20 seasons, 7 teams have started out 0-7, at least 0-7 against the spread to start the season, and none of them made the conference finals. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen for the Bucks,
right,
but something to think about.
Welcoming back Austin Rivers and Austin Victor. He's had high expectations every single night he steps on the floor. Obviously, he's only 8 games into his career, and off nights, they are inevitable. I actually think it speaks to how highly we think of Victor, that we expect so much from him. But what do you think is the biggest reason for the off night that he had?
For me, it's just the way he started the game. You know, his first shot, 20 seconds into the game, he launches a 3, running right into it. Victor has to understand where his spots are on the floor, how he can get himself going. His best game so far is when he's worked inside out. Last night, he comes right out the gate launching a 3. His second shot, a fadeaway air ball. His third shot, another 3. He has to realize that he is the tallest, the longest player on the floor every night he goes out there. And when he uses his size and uses that to dominate the game and get a feel for the game, especially his free throws, he made all of which, by the way, that's what gets him a rhythm. And these are the things that he's going to learn. Like he said, he's 19. It's a lot. He was doing a lot in New York while he was there. And he'll get more and more comfortable as the season goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin, thank you. We're going to see you out here in Los Angeles next week as Victor looks to bounce back here. I want to bring it back to the panel. Brian, I do want to get your thoughts here on Victor's night last night. You've covered him as closely as anybody.
Yeah, here's the thing. He really wants to be a three-point shooter, and I do think he can develop into a three-point shooter. He's shooting 29% on threes. He was 0 of 4 last night. This is what happened last year, Perk. He sometimes in the French League would settle for the three-pointer, and he was a 30% shooter in the French League last year. What he was able to do so well was get to the line in the French League. Now, he's open that much for a reason because the scouting report is already coming out. Go ahead and let him take those threes. Don't let those teams off the hook. Put the ball on the floor. Make them put you on the line.
You know what? When I think about Victor and last night, it was the physicality for the Knicks, right? So you do need to take a page out of Giannis' book. And we know how Giannis came to the league, put on, over 50 pounds of muscle. I think when it comes down to Victor, his thing is that he need to, be a big man that has guard skills, right? And he has that. But play inside first. And the only way he's going to be able to do that is to continue to punish the weight room, continue to work on his body, and he's going to be fine. We already know what his ceiling is. He don't really have a ceiling, but that's my advice to him.
Yeah, just a little bit of a rough week. 3 of 12 on Monday against Indiana, 4 of 14 on Wednesday against the Knicks, and now he needs to look to bounce back.
I'm on fire.